Hey guys, it's Sarah and I am here today with my next Noel Mignon layout here. Now this week we are challenging everyone to use plaid on their layouts because both of the kits for this month, both the classic and the daily diary, have plaid aspects in them. So we want you guys to use those. So I have pulled out this Simple Stories paper, which is going to be my main background paper. I am going to put it on some black because it is a pattern that goes off the paper, so I wanted to kind of have that border. And then I'm using this 6x6 paper that came in the kit, and it's a red plaid. And then I'm also going to grab my paper pad here that I am using from my stash with this kit because I did not get the extra paper. So I do need to pull in some extra stuff, and I'm going through it to see if I can find some plaid. And I do find this one right here that I'm going to use. And that is a paper pad by Jen Hatfield. And so I'm going to be playing on kind of the red plaid design there. Okay, so I'm going to use these to mount my two pictures that I have cut down to be 4x4s, and then I also have one 4x6. So these are going to be the ones to mat my smaller pictures, and then I'm going to use this 6x6 to mat my larger picture. And that is a 6x6 picture, but I did cut it down a little bit on the top just so that I have that border of the paper so you can see it around. And I did cut a little bit off at the end. I'm going to extend it behind the other pattern paper so it goes on both sides. And then I pull out the LE Studio cards from the kit, and I pull out this one that has a gray plaid design on it. And then I also pulled out this tag from the die cuts. And that one I'm going to do my journaling on. It's not a plaid, but it does have squares on it, so I'm kind of playing off that. And I am using my Tim Holtz Black Soot Distress ink to ink up all of the papers here. You can't see it a ton on this paper, but it's very, very subtle, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway. And I'm going to go ahead and do this card here as well. And that card is going to be a layering piece. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put down my background here. And this is a nice dark square pattern, but I think it looks a little bit plaid-y. And then I'm going to mount my picture on this paper here. And I went back and forth between wanting that picture on the right-hand side of the layout because it is, you know, these other two smaller pictures are of Kaylin cooking spaghetti, but that one is her with the finished plate. So I wanted to kind of have it go in order a little bit, but in that picture, you know, she's facing to the right, and if I have her to the right, it looks like she's looking off the page, and I don't want that. I want her looking into the page, so that's why I'm just not going to stress about it and put the finished one over on the left-hand side. Pardon my head, I'm trying to get this straight here because I'm making this look like it goes across the entire back there. And I'm just going to start playing around and doing some layering and kind of placing my stuff. But like I said, this is pictures of Kaylin cooking spaghetti. She has been really wanting to help me in the kitchen a lot lately when I'm cooking. And I'm trying to keep that in mind when I do cook and let her in there with me and kind of teach her some tricks. Honestly, sometimes I just get in my element and I don't, you know, pay attention. But one night I was going to make spaghetti and she said, "Mom, I want to help." And I said, "Do you just want to do it?" And she's like, "Yeah, I do." So she, obviously I was there and I guided her through everything because she had never made spaghetti before, but she did pretty much everything on her own. She was salting the water, she put the noodles in and stirred them and put meatballs in the oven and put the sauce in the pan to heat up. So she pretty much did everything. It was one of the easiest, you know, dishes for her to do. And so I helped guide her through it, and she did a great job. And so we all enjoyed spaghetti that night, and it was, you know, 99% Kaylin who made it. She was really proud of herself, so that was cool. Okay, so I have my title down, Spaghetti Queen, using the thickers from the kit, and I put some red and blue twine behind that tag there, or on the tag, sorry. That was from my stash, not from the kit. I'm going to go through these cards and see if there's anything on these Project Life cards that I can cut out and use as embellishments, because I don't have a ton that is standing out to me to use on this layout, so I'm going to try to use some of these here. I like that red house, so I'm going to use that, and then I have this one here that says love you. So I'm just going to fussy cut out this house to use on here, and just to kind of signify like a homemade meal. So I'm just going to fussy cut that out. And then for the love you, I am going to just cut it down as much as I can here and use that as almost like a die cut. And I'm going to ink the edges of both of these as well. And I will end up putting them kind of down here. I don't want to cover up too much of that gray because it is part of the plaid challenge, so I'm just going to kind of stick things down where I think I want them to go. I'm just going to kind of nuzzle them together so it looks like they go together. And I'm going to go through some of these die cuts here, and I'm not having a ton that is really standing out to me that's going to work for this theme. So I'm going to need to get a little bit creative, and I do pull a couple things from my stash. But first I am going to use these enamel shapes here from Cartabella that did come in the kit. I'm going to use a couple cluster of these little kind of leafy vines. And there's some red, there's some orange, and then there's some brown. So I'm going to use these up, and I'm kind of tucking in behind the pictures. And then I am going to I pull out this that is an offcut from the card that had love you on it. It's a little stitched heart, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out as well so I can use this up by the title. And I get ink all over my fingers. I don't know how that even happened. And I believe I'm going to go ahead and work on my journaling now. So I'm just telling the story about how she wanted to help me a little bit more in the kitchen. So I let her make spaghetti one night. I'm writing that directly on this card here. It's a little tricky writing on, even though there's straight lines on it, it's still, I have it angled, so it was a little bit tricky. I don't know why. I had to really concentrate on it. I'm going to cut the twine down just a little bit more. It's hanging off a little bit too much. I didn't want it covering up my journaling at all. So I'm going to pull out these Prima gems that actually came in last month's kit, but I still have some left over, and the coloring of them were perfect for this layout, so I'm just going to go ahead and use those. And then I pull out some die cuts from Ellie's Studio because I have these food-themed die cuts and wood veneers, and I thought maybe I could use some of that on here just because I needed something that would actually go along with the theme. And so I pull out these utensils, but they're a little bit too chunky and too heavy for me, so I'm going to end up taking those off. But I do end up using a couple of the die cuts, these two little die cuts here. I'm going to use this one that says Dig In, and it's a nice blue, so it ties in with the tag. I'm going to fuss around a little bit with it, though, because I can't tell if I like it right there. It almost looks like it's kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere, but in the end, I feel like the gems really help ground it and give it a place to sit. So I'm going to end up using it that way. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take off those wood veneers because they're not doing it for me. And then I have these utensils that are on another diamond cut, so I can kind of echo that on the other side as well. So that's what I end up doing. I end up taking both of these. I'm going to ink them, and then I'm going to use both of these on my layout. So it ties in nicely. Plus it has that nice gray color. So I'm going to put that one there, this one here, but then I'm going to switch them around because I realized the one over by Kaylin's finished picture should say Dig In because that's when we were getting ready to eat. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch them real quick. So this one down here and this one up here. And then that completes my layout, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I will have links to Noel's site down below so you can check out the kits and the other design team members and see what they're making with this kit as well. And hope you guys check it out. I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.